Jesus is Lord. And he was such a nice Jewish boy. Jesus changed my life, and he's still in the life-changing business. I believe in the divinity of Christ. I believe in the accuracy of the Hebrew Scriptures. I'm convinced that Moses and the ancient Jewish prophets pointed to Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Messiah. Jesus died to save sinners, and you are a sinner. Shalom, my name is Randy Weiss. I'm a Jewish believer in a Jewish Messiah, and I want to welcome you to CrossTalk. When last we met, I aggravated some of my viewers. Believe it or not, some people struggled with the idea that a Jewish guy could believe in Jesus. Well, get used to it. And apparently more troubling, some could not believe that a Jewish guy would ever suggest that Jewish self-hatred might be the cause of division within Israel. Well, try to get used to that too. At least grant me the benefit of the doubt. There's a reason this short series is titled Israel, Changing the Odds in a House Divided. I'm convinced that there's something wrong in Israel. I'm so convinced, I want to give you a transcript of this series, and I would like to read your comments. If you have ideas how we can bless Israel, I want to hear them. I believe the political odds stack up against Israel's survival. So maybe it's time we mature into spiritual people. Somehow we must firmly stand as staunch supporters of Israel. Now, I've never blindly suggested that Israel's always right, or that the needs of Israel's Palestinian citizens should be ignored. I mean, hey, those are not my views. But neither should we ignore the promises of God. Israel is an inheritance. It was granted to Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and their descendants. Neither the Arab League, the United Nations, nor the far left among Israel's own politicians should be permitted to void the covenant that God made with Israel. And like it or not, among other things, God's promises also included a land deal. My concern is that it seems some liberals in Israel have finally set the bar as low as some American liberals. Forgive my sarcasm, but based on what I now see in the United States, I think you may agree that some American liberals seem called to support everyone's rights to deviant behavior. They protect the rights of minority religions imported by the enemies of freedom. And at all cost, American liberals will fight to protect our schools, our public buildings, and our youth from being influenced by anything as dangerous as the Ten Commandments. Am I wrong? If so, write to me. I want to keep an open mind. But I have come to think that perhaps Israel and America might now have more in common than a democratic form of government. Both nations seem to encourage irrational governance, and both seem to disdain leaders who act in the appropriate self-interest of the nation. I'm just convinced. Israel is a divided house, and it appears to have been infected by a destructive self-hatred. Permit me to restate a question asked when we last visited. Why do some Israeli Jews promote the same poison as is spread by our Palestinian enemies? The rhetoric printed by some left-wing Israeli publications is pathetic. The hate expressed towards Jewish settlers and the unending push toward a two-state solution is despicable. And the doves in Israel's Knesset now present a danger to themselves. Israeli liberals have fallen into the same destructive cycle evident among American and European liberals. They make themselves feel good by cuddling victimized Muslims. It's got to stop. We must treat honest citizens fairly and equally. It doesn't matter if they're Christian, Jew, or Muslim. Honest citizens should be treated fairly and equally. It can't be said enough. But true enemies of the state should be treated as dangerous pathogens in the lifeblood of freedom. I mean, you got to ask, why homosexuals or Islamic fundamentalists should have more protection, more rights, more freedom, or more influence than the majority of a nation's populace who remain satisfied with traditional marriage norms or the faith of the founders of the nation where we live, with the freedoms won by those who fought for our Judeo-Christian beliefs. I think we should celebrate freedom more than diversity. Diversity comes naturally when freedom thrives. Freedom, on the other hand, can be lost when being perverse is confused with being diverse. My friends, I think America crossed that line years ago, and Israel is on the same course. In just a moment, I want to tell you why I think America has so much in common with Israel. Please stay tuned.